Ladies and gentlemen, you do not understand how close we come every week to maybe not having the show. This is GroupText with Erin and MeLissa.
Yes.
We have a lot of stuff we need to cover, but first we want to introduce you to our beautiful guest. Our guest is an actor, comedian. This guest sent over a list of accomplishments, and I think they all deserve to be noted. Actor, comedian, podcast host, activist, that's real. I want to talk about it. Baller, cat
basketballer.
Yeah. Tonight we have Raiza Licea joining us from Spanish Aquí Presents, just a comedy and information juggernaut taking over Los Angeles, has been for a while and is only picking up steam. She's our guest tonight. So feel free to send all your love letters in the chat. She's here. Raiza, hello.
Hola. Thanks for having me,
Raiza. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for listing all the I do that as a joke, and literally every time they use it, I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I just want people to know me as a basketballer.
Why? You are a well-rounded person, so that's important.
Yeah. She works hard for the money. So hard for the money. We're going to talk about it. So
now MeLissa has been on vacation. She's coming to us from an undisclosed location. So she forgot to tell you guys that she's MeLissa. I'm Erin. We are Erin and MeLissa, and this is our podcast that we just brought back from like 3 years ago. We don't know why. We thought it'd be fun, and then here we are stuck in the coronavirus. Anyways, so we do this podcast. We talk about friendship, technology, communication, and we do it live once a week on Twitch through Outpost 13. Thank you so much for having us. Today, I want to say, if you guys donate, there's like a little robot that talks about different stuff in this little like chat room, I guess is what this is.
Yeah.
And so if you donate money to this week, I'm here, I'm in it, I'm because I want to mess it up. This week's cause is Queer Tea Gamers. Okay. So from now until Saturday night, this company is going to, double what you send them. So send some money and it will get doubled, and that's fun because that means you get more money. But it's a nonprofit that champions the inclusion and visibility of LGBTQ gamers into the broader gaming world. So if you're a gamer, get gaming. Everybody get in there. Let's do it. So give that money. Welcome to the podcast. Sorry. I'm hyped.
Where's your wine, Erin? Yeah, great.
I didn't.
Yeah, I have two. And this is what happened is because I knew I was gonna need more than one. Yeah. But I didn't want people to see how much I was drinking. So I got the same glass to do a little switcheroo, but I just told everybody.
Erin, you could have kept us going on this movie magic. We would have had no idea.
No clue.
I don't have it in me. Welcome, Raiza. Raiza is a good ass basketball player, and that is real. I play basketball with her and against her, and she's fun. You're fun to play. You're actually very good. A lot of girl comedians are okay to bad. You are good, and maybe let's say great. Let's say it.
Thank you.
You have great shoes.
Yes, I was sporting the Kobe's last year. I got the LeBrons. Well, the year before, and now I have the LeBrons. But yeah, I love basketball. I used to want to be the first woman, like when I was little. It was like president, lawyer, like things like that. But then like at one point when I got good at basketball, I was like, I want to be the first woman in the NBA. And
me too. You were going to say it. That's why I jumped in so fast.
Yeah. I'm like, but I was definitely too short for that life.
That's what I was going to ask. How tall are you? Because I'm 5 feet tall. And I remember when the basketball league opened for like the comedy basketball league. And everyone was like, come on, come do it. She's like, lots of girls didn't know how to play basketball before they joined the league. And I was like, I don't think you understand. There's like it's like know your depth. This is not my depth. I'm 5 feet tall. I'm a Latin woman. And now I say that, but then I see you and you're like freaking wiping the floor up with people. So how tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Okay, that's a giant to me.
Yeah, but I was also short.
Moves. Yes. She's the point guard, right?
Yeah. I like to say I'm like, this is like what I I say it like when I'm like with my boyfriend and his friends or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, what do you play?" And I'm like, "I play the 1. Sometimes I play the 2, the 3, the 4." You know, I'm like the LeBron. And then he's like, "Okay, wow, like you really just put yourself up there." But it's like
I just
like to drive it in and shoot threes. That's all I do. I hate taking jump shots. Like I hate them, and free throws. I fucking suck at free throws, which is terrible. Yeah.
That's all I can do is a jump shot. I get too scared to get it in people's face. I think
You're good at rebounds.
I am good at rebounds. Thank you so much. I'm good at defense. But offense, get the ball away from me. I like to run around like a chicken with my head cut off to tire out whoever I am. Yeah. Or whoever is guarding me. Yeah. Because I look like I should be good. That's the difference, is I look like I should be good and I can kind of hold my own on the other side. So people are like, let's try to put a good person on her at the beginning. And then I tire them out. And then they're like, that girl's not that good. And then they get rid of her.
But but you're very like fun to play with and like encouraging, which you need those people in these type of like games and stuff, because like sometimes we'll play against these teams where the girls like play so hardcore. And I'm like, come on, there's like 2 of us on this team that can like dribble and, you know, whatever, you know, maybe today's the day that, and also like only 5 of us always show up because they're like auditions, filming, they're on set, they didn't get out of babysitting, whatever the hell. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we're all going to play the entire game.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Great.
So that's so on a scale of 1 to LeBron, Raiza's LeBron in basketball. How we normally start out asking the our guests is to kind of give our guests you guys are chatting already in the chat, which is really exciting. You guys are really bonding. I see that. Thank you for cheering for Arlo. He's the person who's producing this, so definitely say hi to him. What is, on a scale of 1 to 10, or we say paper box to Steve Wozniak, where are you on a technological scale?
I want to say I'm like a 7. I feel like there's no way to say that you're like above that unless you're legit like working in a field like that, because things are always changing. So like, even if you're like, I'm so good at this, I run like these many social media accounts and it's like, no, motherfucker, like shit keeps changing. So like, you're like, that has to be like your career if you're going to be like, I'm at a 10. Yeah, I think a 7. I'm like, I can figure stuff out. I get on the phone and I tell my dad, I'm like, Papi, this is how you do this. And it takes me an hour and a half, but I get through it. But I don't know. I think I'm all right.
So you are, because you are the host of an amazing podcast. We're going to get into I want to talk about the host of Spanish Key Presents, the live show at UCB that I've been a part of and we've both attended. But you guys also you have a podcast. You are moving and shaking. You're clearly sitting in front of your self-tape.
I know.
What has it been like doing all that stuff in technology world? Because were you going in and recording live beforehand, and now you're doing it because you just had, again, we talked about it beforehand, for 2 girls, I was a 305 area code. You just had Mr. Worldwide on your podcast. That's maybe that bumps you up to 7.5 at least. Erin, she had Mr. Worldwide.
I said, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's huge.
That was fun. I was very excited. I was nervous, but then I knew it was going to be a quick interview. So I was like, okay, just get through this. And then Carlos Santos, who's also on my team, made fun of me after. He was like, oh, I see you brushed your hair and put a little makeup on this time. Is this the only guest that you care about? And I was like, the shade, but also, yes, I have barely been brushing my hair. Why? Who cares? I have it in a bun or a ponytail. It's too long right now. Who wants to deal with that shit?
No, yeah.
I cut my hair myself the other day, and I have started saying prayers for my stylist. I tried to give myself layers, and I'm going to say did a pretty good job, but right now it looks like this because I woke up from a nap. So, okay, finish your story about being a podcaster now.
I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I was never really huge on podcasts. I guested on a bunch of them because we're in the comedy world, and there's a lot of friends that will hit me up and just be like, oh, be a guest or whatever, for whatever specific reason that they were talking about. And then we got approached by Earwolf, by our producer, who is our producer now, Cody. And she asked us if we would do a pilot because she saw like how successful our live show at UCB was. And she was like, what about if you guys like, do you guys want to pitch a pilot? Cool. And then we did it. And we were like one of like I think like 5, I think that got picked that like last year, whatever, the year before. Cool. So yeah, so we have, I don't know, like I do a lot of like I do a lot of like the business part, I guess you would say. Like I book the guests, most of them, unless obviously like sometimes, you know, the boys like they also be like, they know someone and I'll be like, hey, hit up your girl or whatever. But I do like all like the business stuff. I send the emails, I make sure they have the links, and I get on now during the Rona, I get on first with them with like our engineer Jordan and our producer Cody, and I make sure everybody's set. Then I text the boys, they jump on because I like to make sure it's as smooth as possible. Because if we all get on, we'll just start chit chatting, and it's like I'm like, save it for the podcast, save it. We're not recording. Which is always like so like hard because like you see someone, especially now, you're like you see them on like the Zoom and you're like, oh my God, let's talk, people interaction. But yeah, I'm like I don't know. I'm like I still get like stressed out every time I'm about to click a Zoom link for the podcast. So I'm like, will my video work? Is my sound going to be a mess? Is my computer going to freeze? Who could say?
Yeah. So we do this. Here's the like what happens behind the magic. We do the Zoom link. That's what you guys are seeing right now. You're seeing us on Zoom. Then we have another application called Zencastr that's recording our audio. That audio then gets put by our amazing producer Sammy into podcast form for Stitcher and Apple Podcasts, where every Tuesday a new episode comes out. So come look at that for Erin and Melissa. These episodes, you'll be able to hear Raiza. You'll be so enamored. Then in the future, you'll be like, how do I hear this podcast? You go there. Mm-hmm. If one link of that chain breaks, I don't know what to do. There was one week we got to the end of it and I was like, this was amazing. Forgot to record the whole podcast.
Oh no.
Forgot. So yeah, we're barely hanging on by a thread. Yeah, like I said, when we click go on this thing, when Arlo gives us the green light, it's like we barely made it. It's dark sometimes. And every week it's a new reason why. Mm-hmm. A new person's microphone has stopped working. Mostly it's Erin's, but like not mine's always not working. It's not anything she does. It's like every week something new is like, this thing isn't going to load. So it's a miracle every time.
My computer is not that old. I don't know. I think it's me, but I don't know how to fix that.
I think we're also just like using so much of our stuff. Like we're like on our phones, we're on our computers, and then we're like, we have like our TVs on and Netflix. And I'm like, the other day, my producer was like, I think you just should like maybe shut down your computer and restart it a couple times. I'm like, no, it's always on. It's always on. What do you mean? I have like 300 like tabs. I mean, not that much, but like I have a bunch of tabs open from like a bunch of stuff that I'm doing. And then I'm going to forget because like my ADD is going to be like, wait, what? Like, no. And so I ended up having to close it that day, the last week when I was telling you I had a problem. And now I'm going to just try to do it. I'm going to listen. She might be right.
Just
listen, that's what I did today. And here I am.
And here you are.
Back in action. So Raiza, I want to hear a little bit. Oh, wait, Erin, did I cut you off? Were you about to ask a question?
Yeah, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted you to tell everybody about Spanish Aquí Presents, what you do with that show, what that is, because there's so much stuff in there that I'm just like enamored with and want people to know about it so that they can follow along with what you're doing now. As you're bringing attention to the Latin community in the midst of pandemic and social reform and things like that, but also like what you guys do as individual performers in the comedy community. You're funny as hell. You have great guests. You're very thoughtful about how those things are produced. Yeah. And so I want you to talk. I just want you to like tell everybody about the things that you do and what you're trying to communicate with the Spanish Aquí Presents show and group of people.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, first of all, because it's always nice to hear like that it's a cool thing that someone likes, because sometimes you're like, fuck, I do so much work for this thing that I don't get paid for. And you know what? It's just nice to, yeah, exactly. I'm like, thank you.
Yes.
Like one day I will, but
Yes.
You will.
Yeah. So yeah, SAP, Spanish Aki Presents, we are the only Latinx main stage show at Upright Citizens Brigade, UCB, which is crazy because there's so many talented like Latinx performers all over, you know, LA and, you know, especially in the comedy scene. I've just seen so many people in the past like 2 years. The reason we started it was I pretty much pitched a show. Like I was on a Herald team. I pitched a show before my end of my Herald year, whatever, my first year. And I pitched it, never heard back. But then like, it was like the last couple months of Herald. So everybody, of course, you're like biting your nails and like freaking out, like, you know, whatever. I got cut. I was sad, really had no notes given to me. I was pissed off. Like, I was like more sad and pissed. But then I was like, okay, like after my sad girl moment, I was like, wait a minute, like nobody like emailed me back about that show that I wanted to do. Cause like everybody was like, when I was on like a big, like, team like that, it was really cool because the amount of like Latinx people that would hit me up or like just send me a Facebook message or like a DM or come up to me, wait for me after a show where like, oh my God, it was so cool. Like you did like a character of your dad and like, oh my God, that made me it reminded me of my abuelo or my abuela or whatever that was. And like, it was like really special to get that feedback from someone like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so I'm not just like another like diversity hire, even though that's how I felt like the entire year that I was on stage. And like my first language is Spanish and then English is next. And so like a lot of times like I get really tongue tied. So I was, you know, it was one of those things like you're always anxious on that stage as a minority with like speaking, you know, 2 languages, whatever. And so then I had to fight for our show and we got a date. We had our first show in 2018. And our first guest was Perez Hilton, the blogger, the like,
yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, also I pulled out all the guests and like, I was in Miami, the first show in January, like I was in Miami because my tia abuela, she had passed away. So I went for the funeral and stuff. And like, I was like, oh shit, we have a show in 2 weeks and I have no guests because I've been dealing with my personal family issues. So I like just like randomly like hit up Perez Hilton and his people like from Miami, like from like sleeping in the couch, like with my niece and my nephew next to me at like 2 a.m. I'm like, fuck it. And I wake up the next morning, they're like, yes. And I was like, oh, great. Now I can book everybody else. So then that's how that pretty much happened. And we sold out in less than a week. So it like really proved to us that like, yeah, like a lot of people want to come and see like representation of Latinx people on the stage. And then
that's all that's on the stage, right? That's every person on the stage is Latinx.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have one rule that I told the boys, and the boys, when I say the boys, it's me. And then we have Carlos Santos, Oscar Montoya, and Tony Rodriguez, all beautiful, talented Latino men. Yes. And, I was like, I have one rule, like, no, I'm like, number one, no white people on our stage ever. Like, if we're gonna do like a bit, like we've done bits with people, like we did a bit with Rachel Bloom, and she was there because we had Gabrielle Ruiz from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and like, I was like, is it cool like if you do it from the seat? And she was like, yeah, no, I don't. And she was so like, yeah, no, this isn't. And it was like so like nice to see someone be like, no, like I'm good. And I was like, yeah, great, thank you. Like she didn't even have to like say anything else. It was wonderful. And like, so yeah, that was my one rule. You have to be Latinx to be on the stage and perform or do anything, whatever. And then, yeah, so every show's different. We produce it in a way where like, sometimes there's a little bit of a theme depending on the month. Like if it was like Pride, we had like, you know, like we had someone in drag be our special guest. And then like, you know, we've had all types of people from Afro Latinos to, you know, mixed Latinos with Asian, with white, like just full Latinos, people that are Latino and are white passing and feel like they don't deserve to be on that stage, but they do because they're Latino. And just hella fucking Latino ass people that are like me and can't speak to you without saying something in Spanish. Yeah, so one thing is we always have like a big celebrity guest, and that's a person that we interview at the end. And then me and the boys, we do improv based off their interview. But around that, like it's like a variety show. Like I'll put anything that seems cool. Like we've had a mime, we had a magician from the Magic Castle, we had characters, we had people sing. Like we had like Twin Shadow sing, which is like a huge like singer, and dancers. Sometimes the celebrities are the interview person, and they also do their other thing. Like Sharonis Jackson from Insecure, he did stand up, and then Jackie Cruz sang. I think you were there for the Sharonis show, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the one you did, yeah. And so like you performed,
yeah,
and you performed too, which you did like a musical. Like it was kind of like a musical character bit, if I remember right, because you weren't like you put slideshow of like your parents and stuff in the background, right?
Yeah, so I told everybody the background of like, well, and okay, so I do musical comedy with Erin.
Yeah.
So, and on that stage,
I wasn't allowed.
Yeah, Erin, I came in hard with that rule. I was like, don't think about it. Don't even think about it. You're not on the stage. So Erin and I have done
the balcony. I didn't even stand there. I said,
I was like, do not be on the floor seats. Don't even think.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. And so Erin and I have done a show at UCB called the Dixieland Family Band that was very much based on, so I have a Latin dad and I have an American mom. So my dad's from Honduras. And so I have done a show we wrote called the Dixieland Family Band that's very much about inspired by like growing up in the South and like my mom's side of the family. So I showed a photo of my parents having a Civil War themed wedding, even though my dad is not from the US. So that's like the kind of how.
So funny.
Yeah. So I did that show.
Big grin on his face. Just huge in his Civil War.
Oh yeah. It killed. I remember because I didn't watch you because I was I'm usually in the back, like, cause I'm the one like running around, making sure everybody gets on time and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like listening, I listened from the back and I'm like, okay, all right. And then I like watch like a little bit from the side if I can, but I couldn't that time. So I didn't really get to see you, but I remember like everybody just cracking up when you posted that picture. And like that whole bit, I was like, it killed. It was great.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's not a bit either for her dad. Her dad was just smiling.
And I've told him several times, I don't think he gets what I'm telling him is problematic about it. He's like, we want to do something different, something unique, something we's very special. Yeah. I was like, no, it is different and unique. But the crazy thing was like, I grew up in Miami. I lived there till I was 12 years old. Like that was very much a real part of my life. And I told Erin, being in the green room for Spanish Turkey Presents, it felt like meeting it was like going to an elementary school reunion that I had forgotten. I was like, oh, everybody in here is loud. Everybody is hugging. And it wasn't like offensive. It was like, oh, there you are, Peter. And so I had put together, I did a Shakira song, but I also did a Celia Cruz song. And you had the girl who played Celia. And I got so scared. I was like,
Jamie Osorio.
I was terrified because it's like a big deal to sing a Dolly Parton song for what we did for like the Southern show. Yeah. And that felt very nerve-wracking. But then I was like, I'm going to sing a Celia Cruz song to an audience that is very Latin. I probably fall in the category. I remember Curly Velasquez, who is an amazing like speaker, again, activist. I adore him. I met him at the show. And he kind of talked about this feeling of like when you don't feel Latin enough. So I definitely have felt that feeling. Yeah. And a lot of, especially right now, it has really, really come up. And so singing that song and then knowing that a girl who played actual Celia was going to be singing, I was like, I could have crapped a decorated Christmas tree on that show. But it was
you were great.
It was so good. It really stands out as one of my favorite like show experiences that I've ever had. It was like very, very much like a milestone, transformative like experience that I got to be a part of as far as an individual and a performer. And so
I love that.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important that you get to keep doing what you're doing. It's good work.
Yeah, we make it like I like to go to a show, but if our show was going to be on a Friday at 10:30, it was first at 10:30 and then they moved us to 9:30. If I'm going to go to a show on a Friday, like I want it to be a fucking event. Like I don't just want to go to a show and whatever. And like, forget having to go get dinner and then grab drinks or whatever. Like like I'll have a food truck for you, or I'll have a food sponsor outside, which is usually what we do. We like to like promote like a like Latinx local like food truck, or like somebody that has a restaurant and wants to like do a little like mesita. Like we've had El Cochinito, the Cuban restaurant, Triple Threat Truck, Puerto Rican, and like a bunch of different other people. And then we have a DJ on stage or a band. I believe your night we had a band. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jamie performed with them because she knows them. And but like bands have been really hard because a lot of them moved back to Puerto Rico and they've been like recording and stuff. So we've been having, we have DJ Romo and another DJ Zadi that she, Suri, that she like has been jumping into like when Romo hasn't been able to make it. But yeah, we just want it to be like a fun time, which I think is like what you're saying. Like, you know, we have holy water in the green room. We got glitter. We have pastelitos, like, we're not allowed to bring drinks anymore. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what will happen because who knows what's going to happen over there. But but anyways, like we used to.
Okay, I have a quick question.
Of course.
I know that I am of Irish descent. Almost.
So am I.
Almost predominantly. I'll say most predominantly. But I am marrying half Bolivian.
Okay.
Our children will be a quarter Bolivian. So I know it's not much. But could my kids still get on the stage?
Of course.
Thank you.
I think one of the biggest things, like how you were saying, like a lot of stuff has been coming up. I've been talking to a lot of different friends. Like I've had friends like, you know, text me or DM me like, oh, like, can I ask you these questions? Like, you're kind of like, you know, someone that like, I don't want to say look up to, because that feels weird because it's like we're friends, but like, you know, somebody that I guess they like trust my opinion, maybe. I don't know.
Well, you've been consistently talking about this stuff for a long time.
Yeah. I feel like I've been talking about a lot of this before. Like it was like cool to talk about it, or like before, like I had no choice. Like I started doing comedy and nobody looked like me. There was nobody on the stage looking like me. I would have classes, nobody looked like me. Nobody sounded like me. Everything I did was unusual. I was always unusual. And I'm like, no, this is fucking normal in Miami. Like this is how my abuela would talk. It's normal. How does your abuela talk? I don't know, boring, I guess, but whatever. like I don't know what to tell you. And so like, I just feel like I kind of had no choice. And since I started, when I came out here, I didn't even know I wanted to do comedy. I just did it because my cousin took me to a show and she was like, you would be good at this. And then I just took classes. And then, I just feel like it's really hard because a lot of people like will tell me, oh, you know, like, well, I'm half Puerto Rican and I'm half, Russian. I don't know, whatever that is. And it's like, yeah, but like you still are, like, you're still both of those things and you can identify as both, you know. And if I think like the biggest thing for me with that is like, well, if you are white passing and you have that privilege, like now's the time to realize like you have that, like acknowledge it. You know, just because you don't speak Spanish, if you're like brown like me and you don't speak Spanish, that doesn't mean you're not Latina. Like it doesn't like, which is I think one of like the hardest things that like people are also like struggling with right now, like what their identity, people, you know, they're figuring this out. They're like, oh wait, I didn't know I was white passing, or I didn't know, or whatever that is, or I didn't know I had privilege. And, you know, like my little sister my mom is blonde. Like if you look at pictures of like you've seen her, like she's blonde with blue-green eyes and like white fair skin. And my little sister looks the same with blue eyes. You know what I mean? So it's like we have like so many different colors, and Latinx, like in like our cultura, like we're all different types of colors. And I think that it's okay to just like, you could be proud. I don't care if you're 25%, like be proud you're Bolivian 25%, but then like also like, you know, be proud of your other like percentage as well. And just like, you know, it's definitely been a lot in conversation right now with a lot of my friends. And I can tell like on the social media, you know, people posting certain things and stuff like that. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, I have like my younger brother, we talked about it yesterday at dinner about how being at a doctor one time when we were little in Miami, they asked if we were all from the same dad, because my baby brother has, you know, blonde hair and green eyes, and my middle brother has brown hair and blue eyes. So we all have the same face. It's just varying shades of darkness. Yeah.
Oh yeah. People used to always ask my mom if I was the nanny or the cleaning lady's daughter that she was with. Cause like right now, like, look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I ain't got no tan right now. I'm like, I'm looking real pale. But usually at this time, what is it? July or June 30th. I'm like, I mean, like, I'm hella like brown. Like, I haven't been out like in the sun. So, like, whatever. But I'm like, it's funny because like my mom would get so offended and like with good reason. She
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
and then she would be like, no, do you want to see a video of her coming out of me or do you want to see pictures? Because I have them and that is my mother and that is why I am the way I am. And
I
I would be like, Mom, no, que pena, like, please. And she's like, no, because I'm going to let him know. And I'm like, Mom, it's a cashier at Publix. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Like, it's fine. Like, let's go. Like, let's take our subs and go. But
No, honestly,
it's real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and it has been interesting to like as these conversations have are becoming more and more, and not even just recently, I would say for the past few years, I have been very aware of the fact that like even having the conversations with my brothers who are very Caucasian passing, that like their experience is very different from mine. So it's like even an education sense, because we don't live, like, well, I guess he lives in San Diego, but we didn't all grow up in Miami. I was there the longest amount of time. So, and there nobody cared. Everybody had some Spanish parent. Even my best friend was Jewish. They all speak fluent Spanish.
Oh yeah, you have to in Miami. I mean, how do you expect to go to McDonald's and order food?
Yeah, but now you're about to be a Bolivian wife. Was there anything that you learned that was like surprising, either as just like an American or as a person who's like becoming? Because I would say that show is on Netflix. Please watch it. It's so good. Every person, like as you're educating yourself, add that to your list as far as like history that you didn't learn about. Was there anything that stood out to you about seeing that show as a person who didn't grow up in that world?
Oh,
okay, that
great. Okay. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. We weren't taught it. Like, it's not fair. Like, there's so many things that like we weren't taught. Like, okay, sure, whatever. You're gonna do a whole fucking year on geometry. Tell me when we use geometry. Like, fucking teach me real stuff. And that's like me because I hate math. But, like, but, but I hate math. No, but like, there's so many things that like I think about, and I'm like, we learned about these things that like honestly, like, like don't matter. And there's so many more like real life, like topical things that like need to be talked about. Like, there should be like a class that is just like, okay, this is what's going on in the world now. So every week shit changes. You're not going to have a book and we're just going to have fucking computers or whatever that is. Obviously like it's hard because there's a lot of inner city and like low income like neighborhoods and their schools don't even have fucking computers or a tablet or any of that access. But like, there's got to be a way for kids to learn like what is going on other than like social media and the news, because the news is terrible. Like, I don't care. Like, they're all terrible. They show you whatever the fuck they want, and it's just their side, as unbiased as they want to be. And like, as much as I hate social media, it's actually so good right now because I don't need to go and read the newspaper. I don't need to go and watch the news. Like, I go on social media and like I go and look for what I want to learn, which is like what little kids are still doing. Like, yeah, they're on TikTok and making fucking dances and shit because they're bored, but they're also like, they know what's going on. Like, they know what Black Lives Matter. Like, my niece is 7 and my nephew is 5. And he, the other day, I don't know what, he's like, yeah, and Black Lives Matter. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, where did this come from? And I was like, I don't care where it came from, but I'm happy for it, And it's just, they reserved it. I did that.
You got
I
some?
did. Oh yeah, I reserved it. Oh yeah, and I sent it to a bunch of people, and then like I keep getting text messages. Although I like put it on like, so I put it on like the hidden or whatever you call it, like so I don't get the notification. And the funniest text I got was, I can't. I'm like fucking Trump. The funniest text I got was like a couple weeks ago, and it was like right before his rally because he like moved it because he put it
straight up on Juneteenth. Yeah,
exactly. And then, but like really, it was also because like I don't think the people even show. I don't know this whole thing, whatever. But then I got a text like literally a day or two before, and it was like Eric Trump. My dad is really mad at you, or my dad is pissed, and I was like, the fuck, who is? And then I was like, oh my god, this is like the like automated like. So I want to know how many people got. My dad is pissed. You haven't bought a donation ticket, or I don't know what. And I was like, this is so aggressive. If you're the like, who says that in a text message? But honestly, like, not surprised. I took a screenshot of it. It's somewhere there in my phone. But I like, it's so wild. But I did reserve. Honestly, I hate the emails, but it's funny. And like, I just like, it's good because like now I know when he does another thing, I'm just going to make another reservation and, send it to my friends. And I know that like, since I put that I'm Latina, like, because they make you put what you are, like for sure, he's trying to get like us brown people as much as he can, even though he hates us.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
Feels consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll elevate it.
it. Yeah.
We'll bring it to the top. Raiza, what has it been like as far as your time as being an actor, a comedian? When did you move to LA?
Oh, I want to say like 8.5 years ago, maybe 9.
Right around us. We were 2012.
Yeah.
You had like a team, and I was there with my team, and I just like it was like our teams in the audience, and it was like nobody else was there, and you stood out to me because I was like, she is a bombshell. Like I just will never forget that. And I remember we both had a crush on Joe Wanger.
Oh yeah, Joe Wanger I've had an improv crush on him. Like he was one of the first. I think he's like the first show I saw, and like yeah,
me too.
And I was just like, he's so fucking funny. Like, who is this white man that is like so funny? And again, but that's like the shit that like us, number one, women in general, we all like looked up to dudes because that's what was on stage. And then like, even I remember I saw Eugene Cordero and I was like, oh my God, is he Latino? And then he's not. He's very much not. I was like, oh my God, but he's brown like me. And no, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, I definitely, I got sucked in. Like when I started, I was drinking the juice, but I like never, it's funny because like when I got on a Herald team, it was the first year that I was able to audition because I like took my time. I was chilling, like, I was like, whatever, like I can't afford all these classes. I had to intern. I never got a diversity scholarship. I don't know how, but I didn't. I applied and interviewed, but it's okay. It's fine.
You have risen anyway.
It's fine. I'm not bitter anymore or anything. It's fine. I just had to like sweep stages of blood and shit.
Girl, like that. I know, yeah.
But no, I'm like, I remember like when I started and like when I got on, when I was able to audition, like when I got on, I was like so surprised because I was like, oh, it was like, I was really excited, but then I was also like, oh, this is what so many people want. And like, I feel kind of bad because I was like, oh, like a mess hall team would be tight. Like, cause then I could practice. Like, and I feel so like, and it's not like to be like, oh my God, I'm so cocky. No, it was like, it's none of that. I literally thought I had no chance. Like my callback, my little brother was in town and my niece and him were at a restaurant that I really like and I wanted to go eat. And like, I was running late and I was like, can we get this over? Like, I did not give a fuck about my callback. Like, I didn't care. Like, I was like, I want
you got it, honestly.
I mean, maybe, but like, it was just like, I was like, can we go up? Okay, bye. And then I was like, bye. And I remember Edgar was on my callback and like, he ended up being on my team on DiCaprio. And I was like, okay, bye. And he was like, damn, you like ran out so fast. Like you like didn't care. And I'm like, yeah, because like I have reservations. I was like, so like, I did not give a fuck.
Isn't that every audition you go into that you're like, I don't have time for this. They're like, perfect. We love it.
They're like, we love you. You don't want, it's kind of like dating. Like the boys
exactly
are like,
dating.
I'm like, when they don't pay attention to you, you're like, wait, but why? You don't want to talk to me? Why? But why? Okay, fine. But like, I want to talk to you now. No.
But now I love you.
I love you. Come over. But no, like I don't know. I feel like when I started, I really was drinking the juice and just like never thought about getting on a Herald team or auditioning. I think I was too scared and I never saw people like me. And I was like, well, they're never going to put me. I'm never going to have a chance. Like nobody wants me. Nobody thinks I'm funny. I'm always like the girl that they just asked to be on because I'm like a girl and they needed a girl kind of thing. So I think it is, it's fun to like remember those little shows that we did where I'm like, oh fuck. Like I definitely was just doing these to have fun. Like I was not ever like, I need to make sure I have game in every fucking scene I do and like justify. No, like fuck that. Like I was really just having fun and then like grabbing a drink with my friends after. And I think like, that's how a lot of people should like keep looking at it because I think, you know, a lot of people have like these like ideas of like you're gonna get on a team and then like that's it, you're famous, and that's not how it goes. Like I know way more people that haven't been on anything and are like in rooms selling shows, leads of movies, like shit like that. And I love that. I love those stories. Like I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, that's like what you said about like you got taken off of Herald Night and then you like were like ding ding ding. You guys never responded to my email for a show I really care about.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me and Melissa. Like, well, I drank the juice. Melissa never did, but I didn't get a call back the first or second year I went out for Herald, but it like lit a fire and I was like, and we had multiple shows at UCB and it was so much like, it was like what we wanted versus what UCB wanted, which we're talking about Upright Citizens Brigade in Los Angeles, California for, you know, the internet. But it was like, now you guys are running what you want. What a powerful move. Like, to anyone coming up, it's like, you can, get into the machine if you want. But also, if the machine doesn't want you, that's what Broad City was. It was like two girls that got declined from Herald Night and then made multiple seasons of a show and now both have successful careers. So.
Yeah. And if it doesn't help you, like if the machine doesn't want you, but also if the machine doesn't help you get to where you want to go, bye.
Oh my God, yeah. The amount of people that I see that have been doing improv for over 10 years and all they do is improv and their show, like you don't get paid for that. And like, yeah, cool. Like you'll book a commercial or here, but that's not going to pay your bills. Like you need to like, and I hate when people are like, you have to like, make your own thing, like just and I get that, which is, that's great. I did that. But also like, you don't have to like always do, like you can be that person that is successful as well at the same time, but make your own shit or like whatever, like just like be with people you like and like collaborate if you're like scared of doing it by yourself. Cause I think that's another thing that I love about improv. Like I have 3 other guys that are like literally my family now. Like I love Carlos and Oscar and Tony so much. Like they're like my brothers. And I wouldn't you could tell me right now, Raiza, we're going to put you on a Herald team. Dude, I'd be like, I know. Why do I want to be anxious every fucking Monday night and have like a bunch of fucking white people judge me and tell me that I'm not funny because I said Ottoman wrong or I said mariposa instead of butterfly and that's what was funny? No, fuck you, bro. No, I'm like, I don't need that. It's true, but it's real. Like I'm like, we take on these things that we think we put them so high and like, they're not. And I think, definitely SAP. Like, it's funny. Cause it's like a lot of times like, well, we've had so many interviews and they're like, well, why'd you start? And then they're like, Raiza. And then I have to like say the story. And I'm like, it's not like I sound like bitter, but I'm not. Like, I truly was like, okay, I was upset. I was sad when I got cut, but it was nice to like be able to have that failure to then have this success, because I wouldn't have a podcast if I didn't get cut. I wouldn't, I mean, or maybe I would, I don't know, but I wouldn't have like made me and pushed me to do it how I did it, and just be like more vocal and loud about the Latinx community just being not recognized or put on stage.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's crazy that it's like, when we look at the demographics of our nation, that it like is even a conversation about why it's not reflected on stages. Like it'd be one thing if it was like, oh, this is a predominantly like white neighborhood, or but I'm like, LA of all places, I'm like, how can you say that you don't have, like, you walk outside of your house, you're gonna walk into somebody who's not speaking English. So it's like,
we're the majority minority, like still, like we are the majority minority, which is like all Latinx people are like the majority minority. Like I've said it 3 times, and it's like, I don't know how, like I've said that in meetings at UCB, and I'm like, I don't, like I have a Google Doc. I'll give you talent. You don't know who to bring in for mod. Here you go. I could give you a bunch of Latinx people that maybe haven't, you know, done all this or whatever that is. You know what I mean? Like I can give you writers. Oh, you need writers? Okay, cool. Great. Like just let me know. I have a whole doc like of all these Latinx people, and people still, even now, like have been emailing me their stuff for like when the show opens at some point in the world is like open again or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. It's so stupid. I'm like, it's so stupid because like I talk about it now, and I'm like, I honestly talk about it and I laugh because I'm like, there's just no better like, there's no better like feeling than being like, fuck, I sucked, I failed, and then oh cool, like my show sells out like quicker than your Herald night, or like I have way cooler guests than like all your other fucking shows. Like thank you, bye.
And at the end, nobody sits and gives you notes, and then you have to pay them. You know?
No. I don't have to pay nobody. And also like it's so much fun to work with the people that I work with, and like I never feel like anything bad is gonna happen, or even if like I get like stuck, I always know that the boys are gonna come and like they got your back. Yeah, no, like they really have like your back, and also like it's cool to like be funny in front of like people that you are watching on TV. Like it's so crazy to have like, you know, like Gina Rodriguez or like Diane Guerrero or these people that we see on TV like come up to and be like, yo, you were funny. And I'm like, you have a Golden Globe, you know, whatever that is. So, like it's such a like nice like feeling to like be acknowledged by like people that are successful that look like me. Cause I'm like, okay, cool. Like you're doing this, like great. Like, you know who I am, you know what we're doing. And like, I'd love to be doing what you're also doing, like, you know? Yeah.
Erin, we got to ask Raiza our final question.
Our final questions.
What do you think you got?
Okay. Let's see. Do you have any tips or tricks for surviving what we hope will be the final frontier of staying at home?
Honestly, you know, I work out a lot. That's like one of the things
that's what I should have asked you, but you knew and you are taking it. And I love you for that. Okay.
I'm like, I guess we're not calling it CrossFit anymore. But because fuck Jeff Glassman or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't even know him as much to care.
Weightlifting for all.
Yeah. So I work out at least every day, at least like 5 times a week, like sometimes 6, maybe sometimes 7, whatever. I think like that's helped me.
Now, did you have stuff in your house already or in your like vicinity?
I had a little bit. So I've only been going to my boyfriend's house and then my house. Like I've been going back and forth only between us. And cause they like he has like a gym, like a garage, like in his house he has a garage like with like workout stuff. And so like they have like a barbell and shit like that, which is great, and like dumbbells and like but my gym, which is now called Open Gym 323, I think, or something. I don't know. I'm like, I tag them sometimes. So like I don't know. And they like rented, which they just lent us the stuff. You just had to sign up for what you wanted. So like I got like a wall ball and like a kettlebell and like a PVC pipe and stuff like that. But now they're open. Smart. Yeah, okay. Now they're open. So they're only, I think, letting like 7 people go, but it's not that many people are going. So it's usually like the other day I worked out yesterday and it was 2 people, me and 1 other person. That's it. So like I don't feel like unsafe. We're cleaning everything. It's super, like they're so good. It's also like a Latinx owned gym, which I fucking love. because everybody is like, it's such a diverse gym. And yeah, working out, just like, I think everybody is like, write your pilot, write your this, finish this, do your novel. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, if I didn't do it when I was like sleeping 7 hours, 5 hours on a day or whatever, I'm still not going to do it when I'm like sleeping 12 hours. Like, I just like, it's not going to happen. Like, I can't feel like that, like pressure. I think just also like I've been trying to like be good about eating, because it's really easy to just stay in your house and lay on your bed and fucking snack all day. And like, sure, I did that in the beginning because I was like, this is chill. Like, I'm fucking safe. But like drinking all those beers and that wine and like turning up like was too much. So I just like working out and just like trying to be okay with food and not like overindulging, I guess, because I can snack a lot.
Now, do you have any good Latinx like restaurants you want to promote, or like places that you are, for people listening or will listen in LA?
Yeah. So I live like Silver Lake, like Los Feliz area, and I always tell everybody my favorite Cuban restaurant is El Cochinito. Millie's Chilaquiles. It's on the same. They're Millie's Cafe. It's not Latinx, but they have the fucking best chilaquiles. Like, I don't care.
Oh my god, I love that.
That's all I get every single time. Like, I go there. I never go there for like lunch or dinner. I always go just for like breakfast, and I have that. There's also a Puerto Rican food truck called Triple Threat Truck. They're really, really good. And then there's the vegan Savi. It's like a Salvadorian vegan food, which is really, really good. Especially like I now just found out I'm pretty much like I have to be vegan because dairy is like no bueno for my body. Okay. I'm like, so like that, like, I don't know. It's hard. I like to cook at home. I don't eat out I love Tomato Pie Pizza Joint. Fucking love them. I miss their cheese. Oh my God. It's like, they're on my favorites on my iPhone. Like, I have my family, my friend, SAP, my best friend, Vicky and Momo, and then Tomato Pie Pizza Joint.
Tomato Pie Pizza Joint. Okay, great. I love that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I feel like I barely gave you a lot of next spots, but like,
no, you gave us some. I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah.
My closing question for you, Raiza. You are part of one of my, like, I think like a game-changing moment as far as me being in LA and like what I wanted to do as like an actor and a performer. So I'd love to hear like what was one of those moments for you in the process of being here in LA, or maybe not even in LA, maybe just like you're a little tiny baby girl in Miami, that you were like, this is what I want to do. This is where I got focused. Like, this really brought some clarity about who I want to be as a professional, as an artist, as a creator in this industry.
Wow. Yeah. I think it's hard to just pick a moment for me, but I think if I had to, maybe I got invited.
Oh my God.
Who lunch.
Okay. So you froze right as you started to say this like important thing. I was like, oh no.
Am I good? Am I not frozen?
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I got invited to this. It's called Latinas Who Lunch, and it's like all these like working actresses and writers and showrunners and just like people in the entertainment business that are Latina. So like there was, Gloria Calderon, the showrunner of One Day at a Time, Tanya Saracho, showrunner of Vida, and like Gina Rodriguez, Eva Longoria, like America Ferrera, like all these, like I can't even name. Everybody's so cool. And like it's funny because like I'll walk into UCB and I'm like, yeah, like I feel cool. Like I'm the cool Latina here. And like I walked in there and I was like, oh my God, these are all the people that like I'm like obsessed with. And I like, number one, either they've done my show, so like that was cool. So like I did know a lot of them, or they've done the podcast. But then there's like a lot of people that I'm like, it's crazy to be like sitting next to Eva Longoria while like I have to like stand up and present myself in the middle of like 60 other like badass Latinas. And so I think that was really cool. And I remember that day, like, because I went in, I was a little nervous, but then like when I saw people that I knew, like Janine Mason and like, other people that have done my show, and I was like, okay, I feel a little bit more chill. And like, I belong here, but it like, you're still have imposter syndrome, no matter how like successful you are doing these things. And like, I remember when I had to like announce like who I was and what I did, Gina Rodriguez like jumped in like after like I spoke, and she was like, I've been to her show, like it's so fucking badass, like she's so funny, like everything is so good, like you guys got to do her podcast, you got to do her show. And I felt very cool because I was like, cool, like I didn't ask you, like I know like we know each other because we see each other and like you know who I am, but like it's not like we're texting and hanging out or at all. But I think that was like that day I was like, oh fuck, like this room was powerful. There was so many like badass like just Latinas in there, and I don't know, it made me like inspired me to just be like, oh, like I want to be like someone that can like help other people that walk in that feel like me when they walk into that room one day, I guess. So, yeah.
Raiza, how do people find you online?
Stalk me. No. You can, I'm on Twitter and on Instagram with the same handle at Raiza Licea, RaizaLicea, same one for both of them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm like, I don't think I do anything. I think just Instagram and Twitter. Like Facebook is for like the abuelas and tios. I don't really use it for anybody else but my family, truly.
Well, Raiza's her social my brain just exploded. Her social links, and including the links to Spanish Aki Presents, are in the chat.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say I forgot. I'm like, NSAP. Yeah, we're if you want to listen to the podcast, we've had like a lot of really like big guests, and they're not all Latinx. We have all types of people as long as they're like cool and like supporting like minorities and doing like cool shit. We have them on. And you can listen to us on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I guess that's how they say it. I don't know. They say it better. I'm just still getting the hang of this podcast thing.
Finder. Here's the truth. You're gonna, if you don't look for Raiza, you might accidentally bump into Raiza. So might as well be proactive and start looking for her. Get on board now. Raiza, thank you so much for being our beautiful guest and for sharing your jokes and your time with us. Erin, you ready to do our sign off?
I'm ready.
Okay. We have a new episode out every Tuesday, so go download that. In the meantime, we'll be back here next week. Don't forget that any donations that you give for Queerty Gamers, Outpost 13 is going to match. On that note, good night, America.
We'll see you never.
Not doing that.
Who do you talk to? It's GroupText with Erin and MeLissa.